All right, I'm going to try my hand at the Guardian's Cryptic Crossword for Monday, November 20th. I'm not very good at these crosswords, but I've been watching videos recently by Cracking the Cryptic and David Webb. So I do recommend, if you're interested in seeing how these should be solved by an expert and maybe with a little better explanation, watch their videos. I'll put some links in the description below. Anyway, I did have a quick look through the clues. There are a few I think I have a handle on, but not this first one across. Trickster handy with a card, 9-5. I'm thinking it's going to be trickster as the definition. Is it some like mythological or fairy tale creature who plays tricks? And then it'll be made up of a synonym for handy, and then a card, could be a playing card. Oh, of course, something joker. Ah, yes. Of course I do. So if you're handy, you're practical. Yeah, that was very obvious. Don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. Let's see, 9 across. Had been to take boat trip for Christmas cheer. Well, Christmas at first I was thinking about Noel, but then I thought of, wassail. And of course, had been is was, and to take a boat trip is to sail. 10 across, more inquisitive about one getting extra rowdy. Well, the obvious synonym for more inquisitive is nosier. And if you put an I for one inside that, it's about one, then you get noisier. So I presume I haven't been doing the Guardian crossword for long, so I presume, like other crosswords and other newspapers, they get progressively harder during the week. So I'm thinking Mondays is going to be the easiest. Let's see if that's true. 11 across, arrangements. One may be reduced to. Arrangements, maybe ARR, but then one I, but no, nothing is coming to me. How does the decimal system work? Metric or something? I have concentrated. So I have could be IVE, which could be the end of the word. And then does it mean concentrated? Or maybe I have concentrated is just saying shorten I have. No, nothing is coming there. Instrument made in red and orange strangely. Well, strangely seems to be an anagram indicator. And maybe means an instrument. 4-5. So is it an anagram of, and orange is 9 letters? Or is it red and joined with orange? So red, orange. That's a little sneaky, throwing in the 3-letter and if it is. I'm trying to think what instruments are made in red. So maybe it's not a musical instrument. But I am thinking if it's a musical instrument, you can get organ in orange, which has an E left over. And then if it's joined with and, Dane, Nade, Enad, Dina. Oh, but if you put the E in red, excuse me, you get reed organ, which I think is a type of organ as opposed to a pipe organ. So that was pretty easy. Tall, thin plank you cut down. Tall, thin plank you cut down. No, I'm wondering if you remove some of the letters from thin plank, or is it hidden within thin plank? I'm not seeing a synonym for tall. No, gonna have to move on. By the way, I always have done crosswords where I do all of the across first and then move through all of the downs and then go back and mop up, as opposed to seeing that I have actually some very useful letters for some of these other words. But let's just go ahead and try this. A pair of bishops at scripture, one wearing a mitre, perhaps. Well, yeah, it's a bishop wears a mitre. Oh, but I wonder if it could be ABB, and then abbot for Old Testament. So A, two B's for the two bishops, and then Old Testament. Do abbots wear a mitre as well? Well, it says perhaps, so maybe they do and no one is looking. Muscle that might make chins pert. And it's 9 letters. I mean, chins pert seems very odd words together, and therefore you think they must be anagrammed. That might make chins pert. Yes and no. So I'm thinking maybe the definition is a muscle, and the yes and no is maybe indicating this is a bit of a stretch. Actually, can you make stretch? No, we've only got one T. Yeah, I think let me get some more letters in that, and we'll take a look later. Gangster carrying gun round, warning to get out. What is their usual short word for a gangster? And then maybe there's a word for a gun inside that, or maybe reversed, round, or round could be an O. I'm thinking the whole thing means a warning to get out, so maybe it's something people shout. Nothing is coming to mind. Revive Frenchman with whiskey. I'm thinking this means revive, and it's maybe a short French men's name. Or could it be the French word? Well, man is homme. Or could it be il? He, with, what would whiskey, is there some short, whiskey, of course, from the NATO alphabet is W, so that seems more, so a 4-letter Frenchman with a W at the end, meaning revive. Nope, not getting it. Pretended son played badly. Nope, nothing coming to me there. Run a short fiddle in cases of meat. Well, cases of meat. Or maybe the definition is something to do with meat, of meat. Run, I think, can be R for a cricket run. A, maybe. What's a short fiddle? Oh, that could be a con, maybe. Um, in cases, so I'm thinking maybe, no, I'm not sure. Let's see, long lost texts found mixed up in local addresses. Well, that seems to be an anagram indicator. Oh, and the 437, I think, is very helpful here. So long lost texts, and then I think it's an anagram. Let's see, 5, 9, 10, 14, and we need 14 letters. Dead Sea Scrolls comes to mind, and just we have two L's. We have a lot of S's, Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, I'm not going to double check that, but that seems right. All right, finally, let's move on to the Downs. Electricity essential for this working meal. Well, power with P and W for electricity. But what is essential? I mean, a working meal, power lunch. I mean, we have something R, something A. So power breakfast, is that a thing? I'll put it in. I don't get, other than power for electricity, I don't see anything to give me breakfast from essential, unless this is just, it's not exactly an and lit, but some kind of just playful definition. Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that. We'll see if any of the letters clash. Lack of two principal characters ruining scene. Oh, well, I think ruining again could be an anagram, and then we would have the SENCE, and lack of would be absence. So I think the two principal characters, of course, the first two letters of the alphabet, A and B. After T, say. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's just a homophone indicator, and we get the letter T. Took charge of games as coach, perhaps. Well, just looking at the letters, we have transport comes to mind, which could be a bus coach. So T, and then we would have ran, meaning took charge of, and then games would be sport, I think is then left. Ran, sport, yeah. All right, this is not going too badly. Famous last words, of course. Coming to see one's vocation. Well, again, with the letters, we have calling. So going to see somebody, calling in, and then your vocation is your calling in life. 5 down, pine not turning up. It's worth thousands of pounds. 4-3. I don't think it's an anagram. We don't have an L anywhere in this. Oh, but pine. Oh, I was thinking long looks like the first word, and of course to pine is to long for something. And then, oh, not turning up would be not backwards. Long ton. I know that a ton, I think, is 1,000 pounds in English slang. You know, part of my problem solving these is I know a little bit from growing up in Ireland and hearing things on the BBC or ITV, but and hanging around with English friends over here, but there's probably a lot of this slang I will not know. But I'll leave it in for now. I mean, it makes sense from the wordplay. Just not sure a long ton. I've never heard that phrase before. 6 down. Bulb working. Something positive, possibly. Well, from the letters, I'm thinking onion is a bulb. Oh, and working is on. So if your appliance is on, it is working. And then an ion can be positive. Can they be negative too? I think so. Subversion headed off in issue of book, beginning with E something I. Addition, it would be an issue of a book. Oh, and then sedition is another word for subversion. You take off the first letter and you get addition. Okay. Bugs, a crew precisely dealt with. 6-8. So trying to think if, yeah, the definition could be either end. It could be some kind of insects. Or yeah, it could be a noise, that kind of bugs. Yeah, generally if they use a word in one sense in the clue on the surface reading, then it's generally a different meaning that you have to actually use in the answer. Yeah, so now I'm thinking maybe it is dealt with. Bugs a crew. And the A is probably going to be in the answer. I know from watching those videos I mentioned, yeah, if you could write the clue without the A and it still means the same thing, then it's probably a sign that that A has to go into the answer. Anyway, let's move on. Secure dog, perhaps, in vehicle, 4-5. We just have an R at the end. Oh, I've immediately thought of Rover, not Range Rover, Land Rover. To land a job, to secure a job, and then good old Rover. Angry pub scene results in hail of missiles. Well, beginning with B, I'm thinking a hail of missiles would be a barrage. And we have bar for the pub. Well, also angry pub scene, I think you have to take all together. It would be a bar rage, would be an angry pub scene. Wife on horse, as it were, has to wrap up. Well, wife is a W, so, and then up maybe on a word for horse. To wrap up, well, just looking, excuse me, at the letters, we have wrestle, wrangle, but I don't think, well, wrangle, but if you wrangle horses, that's with a W, right? Wrangler jeans. So maybe not that. Let's see. Be very busy, certain to hitch up something off the shoulder. I thought of holster, but it doesn't look like that. Be very busy. Certain could be sure. To hitch up. So maybe something is written backwards. Maybe a word for to hitch. Written backwards. So then it would, if then the answer is something off the shoulder, What is something off the show? I mean, you immediately think of a garment, but again, they may be trying to mislead us here. Okay, let's try thin wrapping can frustrate, ending in L. I'm thinking frustrate is the definition. And something for thin. Can you just abbreviate that as TH? No. All right, directed media to reform. Well, the reform seems like an anagram indicator. And just 5 letters in media. Aimed would be directed. So that's another easy one. All right, let's go back now. It looks like I have about a third of them, maybe. Not too bad. Arrangements, one may be reduced to. Wow, we have all the letters. One may be reduced to. I'm thinking in mathematics, when you reduce something to the lowest common denominators, or someone in dire straits who's been reduced to something, and then arrangements. No, not getting that at all. Let's look at 12. How does the decimal system work? I have concentrated. I thought that might end in IVE. I thought of intensive as something that is concentrated. Yes, and the decimal system works in tens, and then you have IVE, and the whole thing is a concentrated, like a concentrated training course, can be intensive. Okay. Here's our toll. Oh, yes. So this is a hidden clue within thin plank U, I suppose. Or maybe tall and thin is the definition, and then within plank U, you have lanky. Cut down, yeah, so plank U cut down becomes lanky, tall and thin. 8 down, the first word now ends in a Y. Precisely deals with. Greedy, freely. Not thinking of any bugs are dealt with. Yeah, and I don't think dealt with can be the definition because this ends in an S. So bugs seems more likely to be the definition. So if it is beginning with A and then crew, crew can also be the past tense of crow. But no. Army ants, are they type of artery something? No, not sure of that one. Let's look at, oh, here's our muscle that might make chins pert. Yes and no. Let's use the anagram helper. Put in chins pert. It knows where the N is. And muscle that might make yes and no. Could end in ship. muscle. No, nothing is from these is coming to me. I'm not sure the anagram helper really helps me. Could be muscle in the sense of a heavy, a doorman kind of henchman. No, no, have to come back to that one. Gangster carrying gun round, warning to get out. Well, fire alarm would fit, but I'm not sure I get the. Oh, well, firearm. Oops, fire alarm. You do have firearm with Al. Oh, of course, Al Capone. So, oh, I think, yeah, I was thinking, wait a minute, the gun is carrying the gangster, and then I think the round means you then have to reverse these words. That's, I don't know, is that cricket? I think that's a little too convoluted. But I know from watching the videos I've mentioned, Cracking the Cryptic and David Webb, that you can get that sort of multi-level of complexity. I think it has to be fire alarm, though, as a warning to get out. So that may help us. Pretended son played badly. So I think it might be pretended and then begin with an S and then a 6-letter word for played badly. Spammed, scammed? Could that be pretended to scam? Swarmed. Shammed. A sham is a pretense. Is there a verb form to sham? But then played badly might be as in an actor playing a part badly as a ham. Can that be a verb? I think I have heard, yeah, he really hammed it up. So I'll put it in. I'm not 100% sure on this one. Shammed, pretended. Well, let's leave it for now. All right, 17 down. Here is our wife on a horse, as it were. That D should be useful. Not thinking of anything beginning with a W, but I was thinking about wrapping up a baby, swaddle, and so W is in saddle. So I think that's why they say, as it were, that they're stretching this on horse a little bit because the wife is in the saddle, meaning on a horse, as it were. Yeah, I think that's fair. 18 down, now we have this M, should be useful. Be very busy, certain to hitch up something off the shoulder. What are the muscles on the shoulder? I don't know me. Muscles. Ooh. Armpits fits. Would you say they're off the shoulder? But how do we get be very busy? Certain to hitch up. I'm not sure. That would put an I here. Run, which I thought was going to be an R, a short fiddle in cases of meat. The V should be useful. A short fiddle, it could be a viol. Oh, I'm thinking of ravioli. So run A is the RA. Short fiddle is viol, older form, I think, of the violin. Violi, of course, can be plural, but they just have one fiddle. But I think ravioli is pasta with meat inside, right? So, yeah, I'm happy enough with that one. Let's try 19 down. This thin wrapping can frustrate. Wrapping, could that be a foil? Which, of course, to frustrate somebody's plans would be to foil them. And of course, we always have to be conscious that little words like can actually be very meaningful, because I just thought a synonym of a can is a tin and tin foil. So the thin wrapping is tin foil, and it's got from words for can and frustrate. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, a lot of these you're never 100% right, that are 100% confident that they're right. Even watching these experts videos, sometimes they put in a word and they go back to it. They're not completely confident. All right, here's our revive, our Frenchman. Oh, well, revive would be renew. Oh, and of course, Rene is the Frenchman. That one I am 100% confident of. Frenchman with whiskey, Rene with W is renew. And here's our muscle. Let me go back to the bugs first. Of course, that A may not be right. A crew precisely dealt. Oh, it could be an anagram of accrue precisely. Is that the right number of letters? A crew precisely 5. Yes, that's 14. So let me get rid of the A, and then a crew precisely. We have a lot of the letters here, so the anagrams should be a little more meaningful. And it means, oh, creepy crawlies. Yes, I got it close enough. That's a good one. Yeah, it's a good anagram because those words, they're not completely ridiculous as some of the, like chin, what was our chins pert? Okay, so now the muscles, let's try the anagram helper on that. Oh my God. All right, there's our muscle. Very useful one. Of course, the definition part is a little bit lacking, but I'm not sure what they could have said about sphincter. Um, yes and no. Chinspert, yeah, I don't get the yes part of that, but anyway. All right. Be very busy, certain to hitch up something off the shoulder. Be very busy. Certain to hitch up. I'm wondering if that could be oh no, sorry, Erus. Oh, the humerus. Ah, so if you're humming, you're really busy, like you say, the joint was humming. And then certain is sure is hitched up, and you get the humerus, which I presume comes down off the shoulder. I always thought it was around the elbow, but maybe it starts. So just 11 across left. Arrangements, one may be reduced to. Oh, I think in the military, if you're an officer, you can be reduced to the ranks and to make arrangements of things, maybe like, well, I would have said rankings rather than ranks. And I think the definition part one may be reduced to. I mean, I don't know, is that fair to say? Well, I suppose I got it. I got the answer, I think. All right, let me just double check I filled in all the words and I'm happy enough with them. It's easy to check the acrosses. It's not as easy to check the downs. Yeah, Power Breakfast was the one I was least confident of, probably, but yeah, all the crossing letters checked out. So let's go ahead and do check all, confirm. Well, nothing happened. I know I've tried this before. Let's actually maybe make a mistake. Let's change that to a Q. And now if I do check all, so it removes the letter that's wrong. That's interesting. That's a funny way to do it. Check all. Anyway, let me know if you enjoyed this video and would like me to do more crossword videos. If there's anything else you'd like to see me do on the channel. Thanks as always for watching and have a great day.